This is CBC Here and Now.
First thing I thought about it was, this can't be real. This is not happening.
The man accused of carjacking appears in court.
Just as the victims describe what happened.
And my passenger door opened, and this guy looked at me, and he held a screwdriver in my face and told me to get out of the van.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Anthony Germain.
And I'm Debbie Cooper. And we start tonight with breaking news, a significant development at the Muskrat Falls project. More turmoil at the construction site.
Asbestos is out as the project's main contractor, and workers are now being sent home. Here and Now's Rob Antle is tracking this story and has the details. Rob, what do we know so far?
Well, just an hour ago, Nalcor Energy confirmed the news. It's directed Asbestos to stop work at Muskrat Falls and is making arrangements for the company's 500 workers to return home. Nalcor says it made the move because of concerns about Asbestos' ability to pay those workers. Their union sued over unpaid benefits. Nalcor says those costs are being covered by financial protections that are in place. So this seems to be more bad news for a project that's billions over budget and years behind schedule. But Nalcor CEO Stan Marshall says other work will continue on the site as planned. In a statement, he says, "We remain committed to have first power from the project in 2019, with full power in 2020. Our goal is to finish this project strong, and we're ensuring that we have everything in place to do this." Stan Marshall wasn't available today, but is expected to take questions about this developing situation tomorrow. Debbie?
That's our Rob Antle reporting live in our studio this evening. Well, an expert hired to do an independent review of plans to develop the Muskrat Falls project says a Nalcor executive asked him to alter his team's report. Consultant Derek Owen testified at the Muskrat Falls inquiry today. He says the project's director, Paul Harrington, sent him an email asking him to alter parts of the report relating to cost estimates and scheduling allowances. In the end, no changes were made, but Owen did comment about the changes he says Harrington requested.
The changes were totally unacceptable because they were going, in some cases, beyond what we'd found, and there was a nuance put into some of the words by Mr. Harrington that which was clearly not what we recommended.
A family in St. John's is still getting over a scary afternoon carjacking. Grandmother Michelle Murray feared for her life yesterday afternoon. She was idling inside this Kia Sedona with 3 children who were in the back seat. That's when a man held a weapon to her face and ordered her to get out. But as she told CBC's Fred Hutton, she wasn't going to leave without her family.
I had my 2 grandkids and my daughter's daughter in the van with me. They were watching Paw Patrol. We were just in the van sitting down. And all of a sudden I heard my daughter scream from outside, and my passenger door opened, and this guy looked at me, and he held a screwdriver in my face and told me to get out of the van. And I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "The cops are after me." I said, "Well, I'm not moving. I'm not getting out of the van. My kids are in this van. My grandbaby's here. I ain't moving." And my daughter and her friend Brittany started to go around to each side of the car to get the kids out. And he started reversing the car as I was still sat in the vehicle because my daughter was trying to remove the baby from his car seat, which was in the back behind me. When she got the baby out, then I got out of the car and I started snapping his pictures. When I seen the weapon, first thing I thought about it was, this can't be real. This is not happening. But I remember my grandkids are in this vehicle, and I just can't leave them.
When you heard about what happened afterwards, allegedly with this van going out as far as Avondale and all the other things, and then ultimately ending in the crash, what went through your mind?
That could have been me and my grandkids in that van. We're not letting this settle. We're not letting this go. This man traumatized a whole lot of us. And my 2-year-old grandson, who is still talking about it. It's just not right. Mental illness, if he's got a mental illness, I understand that. I suffer with a mental illness. But I don't go out around and do things and blame it on my mental illness. Nothing he could have done to me, I wasn't leaving. There was no way. That was my babies.
Now, 21-year-old Jesse Lewis now faces 25 charges from the incident, and police say before the carjacking, he also stole another vehicle and was responsible for several accidents. He previously spent a year in prison for shooting a man point blank with a sawed-off shotgun, but was released and acquitted in September after a judge ruled that he fired that weapon in self-defense.
NLC inspectors are on Water Street in St. John's right now, shutting down an illegal marijuana store. Here now, Zach Gowdy is live. Zach, what can you tell us?
Well, indeed, just one day after the first legal marijuana stores opened in this province and this country, inspectors from the Newfoundland and Labrador Liquor Corporation as well as officers from the RNC are inside the Water Street Cannabis Care right now, one of the illegal cannabis dispensaries that had been operating in downtown St. John's. One of several that we were aware of in the weeks leading up to legalization. The NLC had threatened, rather publicly in fact, to conduct these raids, had put the operators of the illegal cannabis dispensaries on notice that as soon as October 17th came and then cannabis became a substance that the NLC was in charge of regulating, that they would be moving to shut down anyone operating outside of the legal framework. Well, today, they seem to be making good on that progress. If you'll bear with me a moment, I'm just going to peek in through the frosted glass, and I can tell you that, yeah, there are still a couple, at least, of NLC inspectors, and uniformed RNC officers inside. That's all we've been able to see for now. But also there is a sign hanging in the window of this store right now, a hand-drawn sign that says closed, underline, exclamation mark. It's actually taped to the door here with evidence tape. In fact, in the less than an hour or so since we have been here on the scene, there have been a number of potential customers, shall we say, who have walked by, tried the door handle, wondered what's going on here. Perhaps they're habitual customers. Perhaps they're just finding some of the other marijuana dispensaries in town, the legal marijuana dispensaries, running short on product, a story that we have been reporting all day. Once again, the breaking news is that inspectors from the Newfoundland and Labrador Liquor Corporation as well as RNC officers are conducting a raid at the Water Street Cannabis Care marijuana dispensary, not one of the legal dispensaries that opened yesterday. This place has been operating outside the frame of the law, Debbie, for some time. We'll stay on the scene and keep you up to date with the latest.
That's our Zach Gowdy live on Water Street in St. John's this evening. And to this story, something that Zach just referenced. If you've been trying to get legal cannabis and can't, you're not alone. Canopy, one of the biggest suppliers, is sending in a plant load of pot today. But right now, in many stores, the shelves are bare. Here now's Peter Cowan was at one today.
At this store in Portugal Cove, St. Philip's, the only thing you're buying today is maybe a t-shirt or a vaporizer, but what everyone is coming in for is pot, and it's not on the shelves. They ran out yesterday afternoon. The owner here insists it was at 4:20 that he looked down and made his last sale, and they're trying to figure out when they're going to get some more. He says it's been a disappointment to have to turn people away.
So very upset that I don't have product for everybody. I'm letting down a lot of people here, and you know, I was assured that if I paid for the cannabis I would receive it, so I'm a little let down with the supply problem for sure.
The customers I'm talking to do say they understand that it's out of the control of the local stores. This is with the distributors, but it's still disappointing.
Whoever's in charge of it should have foreseen that and would have a lot more on hand. Like, I mean, it's just come out, you figure it's going to be a high demand for it, right?
So where's the weed? Well, the Newfoundland and Labrador Liquor Corporation is talking to suppliers, and they're saying that some of the problems are with Health Canada. For example, one supplier had to repackage all their product because Health Canada didn't like the way it was packaged. Another company had a whole bunch of their crop all destroyed by Health Canada's orders. So they're now frantically trying to get more weed and get it out the door. The head of Canopy, the largest producer, says they're working to try and solve the problem.
The demand is going to probably exceed supply for the next few years, but that means that's not going to the illicit market. And it's going to be harder to be a bad guy.
So now that it's legal and people want it, are they willing to wait for it to be back in stock, or are they going to simply look back to the black market? Peter Cowan, CBC News, Portugal Cove, St. Phillips.
I'm having my first legal draw on TV.
Well, all of a sudden, weed's legal. What does that mean for those who've been smoking it and advocating for its legalization for decades?
A Here and Now commentary by Colleen Power. That's coming up in about 30 minutes. But first,
I do think that there is merit for them, and they should be there.
School buses and seatbelts. The Fifth Estate did an investigation. I'm Katie Breen, and coming up, I'll have reaction from this province.
Well, to politics now. The former leader of the opposition and a former premier is leaving politics. Paul Davis, the PC MHA for Topsail Paradise, will resign his seat in the House of Assembly. That'll be effective on November the 2nd, just before the House of Assembly reconvenes. Davis stepped down as party leader, paving the way for Ches Crosby to take over. He says it's time for the PCs to have a fresh approach, and he says he is not going to run federally and is retiring from politics altogether. Davis's resignation triggers another by-election.
A lot of momentum right now. We just won 2 by-elections against 2 heavyweight Liberal candidates. Jim Lester, Liberals said, oh, Jim Lester's not going to win last year, and he won a very strong seat. They threw everything at the Paul Antle campaign against Mr. Crosby, and Mr. Crosby became victorious. So I believe people are speaking about wanting a change from the Liberals, and one of the things you can do is build on momentum. So it's a good time. The time is right for me personally. I think it's a good time for the party as well.
Yeah, well, it was a nice, it was, by the time he actually made that, it was actually not so bad outside. I noticed it was horrible this morning, just around mid-afternoon when Mr. Davis made that announcement. It was actually quite beautiful out.
Sunny and very nice.
Got warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah, you know, it was beautiful here, but not so nice in some areas across the island. We did see some snow on the roads today for the higher elevations. We'll take a look at the weather on the way over the next 24 hours. It does look like this snow will continue on the roads potentially at least through the overnight tonight, and then we should see things clear out through the day tomorrow or change over to rain through the afternoon. Another system on the way could bring some significant rainfall for parts of the island, upwards of potentially some models throwing out over 100 millimeters of rain. It looks like it is a little bit early for that, but we will break that down coming up in a little bit. And then for Labrador, that snow, bringing heavy snow in starting Saturday night, changing over to rain potentially on Sunday, but I will have all those details coming up in a little bit.
We have local reaction tonight to a recent investigation by the Fifth Estate. They uncovered a hidden Transport Canada study. It cast doubt on the idea that seatbelts on school buses do more harm than good. Here Now's Katie Breen has more.
These kids have grown up learning that seatbelts save lives. It's a pretty common PSA. But that message goes out the school bus window once they step aboard.
Seatbelts have proven to be the thing that works in every other form of motorized transportation. I don't know why school buses would be devoid from that.
Dave Callahan ran a school bus company for 3 decades. He got out of the business this year because he said he couldn't safely and profitably compete at the rates the school board was willing to pay.
Why don't school buses have seatbelts?
It's very much a money issue.
There would be a cost for the actual straps, and then there's capacity.
Don't let that kid you if you think that the school board's got any real serious interest in safety. It's a numbers thing.
The English School District wouldn't do an interview or supply a statement, instead steering us to Service NL. That provincial department then said it was going to follow federal guidelines, which, in the wake of the Fifth Estate investigation, are now under review.
Some American school buses already have seatbelts, but that's not the case here, at least not for school children, if you ask Callahan.
I sold some school buses a while back to a project at Bull Arm. And before they could use them to haul adults around on what was mostly their work site, I guess they're on the highway as well. But before they could use them, they had to install seatbelts in them. So they took them on the school system, great to haul kids, but you know, a bunch of adults going to work, so we'll use seatbelts for the adults going to work. Absolutely asinine.
an apparent safety double standard. Transport Canada is investigating. There's no timeline on when the public will get an answer. Katie Breen, CBC News, St. John's.
From cancer to compromised lung function, asbestos has long been cited as a hazardous substance. Today, the federal government acted on a 2016 pledge announcing a ban on the mineral by the end of the year. But the regulations exempt some military, nuclear, and chloralkali plants for a few more years.
These regulations ban the import, the sale, the use, and the export of asbestos and products containing asbestos in Canada, as well as the manufacture of products containing asbestos.
Where there are exemptions, they're time dated in both the nuclear and the military industries. You can't simply say you can't use it anymore and not figure out what's going to replace, because otherwise many of our facilities will come to a crash.
Asbestos is used in everything from insulation to floor and ceiling tiles. It's also used in plaster and cement, siding, and in heating systems, brake pads, and transmission components such as clutches. The regulations state retailers who have stockpiled goods made with asbestos must dispose of them. But the regulations don't ban mining activity. Military and nuclear facilities in Canada have until the end of 2022 to stop using such products. It will be up to the industry to come up with an alternative.
The inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women has finished hearing testimony after 4 days in St. John's. Commissioners focused on sexual exploitation as well as human trafficking. Here Now's Bailey White has been covering the inquiry, and she joins us live from our newsroom. Bailey, who appeared today?
Well, the first witness today was Chief Danny Smythe of the Winnipeg Police Service, and he talked about the force's victim-centered approach to human trafficking. Basically, what he means by that is that the force tries to help sex workers instead of punishing them. But it wasn't always that way, and before the chief got into details about what's happening in the city right now, he offered an apology.
The police in Winnipeg have not always been on the right path, that our past actions and procedures contributed to harming Indigenous people in our community. That Indigenous women were not treated with the respect and dignity that they deserve. As the Chief of the Winnipeg Police Service, I offer my apologies for past conduct.
And this isn't the first apology we've heard this week either. You might recall RNC Chief Joe Boland also apologized on Monday for his force's dealings with Indigenous communities.
Okay, Bailey, the witnesses, they've all finished testifying. What's the next step with the inquiry?
Well, the next step from here is to gather final submissions from parties with standing. Those are groups like the Assembly of First Nations, Inuit advocacy groups, the provinces, the territories. They'll submit their recommendations, and that's when the commissioners will get down to the business of actually writing the report. Chief Commissioner Marion Buller says they'd like to have more time to dig in deeper on certain issues, but they'll do the best with what they have.
I don't think I would ever personally be satisfied. I always strive to do better. And that's because I know families and survivors all across Canada are relying on us to do our very best, and then some.
So that final report is due at the end of April, and Buller says they are on track to meet that deadline. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Bailey White for Here and Now.
It's touched by it. Seriously, you can't imagine there's a woman in this room who hasn't picked up a camera or written a script that doesn't have a story.
Moving past Me Too, how St. John's Film Festival is celebrating women.
Welcome back. A St. John's woman who stole $70,000 from her boss has been sentenced to house arrest. Leah Chalk was also ordered to repay the money that she stole over the last 13 years from a small business in Mount Pearl. Here now's Jeremy Eaton has that story.
Leah Chalk walked into courtroom number 3 today with Michael Whalen and his supporters not too far behind. Whalen hired Chalk back in 2001 to work for his company, Backyard Contractors.
It's a big shock, like you're after placing a lot of trust and you're working side by side for the past 15, 16 years. Okay, it is a shock.
Today, Chalk learned her fate after pleading guilty to 2 counts of fraud over $5,000 back in August. Judge Colin Flynn handed her a 16-month conditional sentence, which is better known as house arrest, for each charge, to be served at the same time. He told Chalk she also had to pay back the $70,000 to Backyard Contractors. While handing down his sentence, Judge Flynn said, "Too many small businesses like this one have been victimized by employees that use those businesses as kind of like an ATM machine." Which is exactly what Chalk did from 2003 until she was caught in 2016. She used a company credit card to buy things like an iPhone, snowblower, hotel rooms, alcohol, and even $1,000 worth of dental care. Chalk and her husband used a company gas card to fill up their personal vehicles.
Well, it's not the point of the sentence, it's just to do the practice of the courts, that's all, and bring everything forward. That's the way it should be done, and put a stop to all this fraud and activity going on with small businesses.
Whalen told reporters the whole ordeal has affected his trust in people, not to mention that it cost his business a lot of money.
Well, it's good to see because a lot of wasted money and time of the company and whatever that you're not going to recoup, right? Plus all the money that was lost from the get-go.
Whalen said he's glad the ordeal is finally over and that what Chalk did to his business is now public. He also says small business owners should be very careful about who they hire to handle their money. Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, St. John's.
Ashley, join us once again. You were saying earlier that there's going to be a lot of rain coming, but we want to look at overnight and into tomorrow first.
That's right. Yeah, we're looking at a little bit of snowfall continuing through the night tonight. That is kind of the story as we head through the next 24 hours. If we take a look at the current highs, or rather the highs that we saw through the afternoon today, 10 degrees here in St. John's. Bonavista Vista reached a high near 8 degrees this afternoon. A little cooler towards Central, Gander at 4 degrees, 6 for Deer Lake, and then Corner Brook sat around 5 degrees today. Now up through Labrador City at -4 this afternoon, 1 degree in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Now those temperatures have dropped a little bit, just by 1 degree, hovering around the 0 degree mark, and then Labrador City at -5. Temperatures have also dropped across the island. Gander down to about 3 degrees, and same for Corner Brook, and that's going to play into the weather that we're going to see through the overnight tonight. But Happy Valley Goose Bay still under a snowfall warning, likely seeing accumulations between 10 to 15 centimeters in total, so another 5 centimeters on the way through the night tonight. Could even see some rain mixed in right along with that. So if we take a look at what we're going to see, or rather what we saw earlier today, plenty of rainfall up in the higher elevations. That was falling as snow. Saw a number of pictures of snowy roads around Deer Lake. Now we saw some rain push through the Avalon as well, and that should clear out as we head through the overnight. Might see a few more showers in the mix there, but it's this low pressure system and the cold air in behind it that we may see some more snow, particularly around Central and then the Northern Peninsula as well, with flurries on the way. It'll likely be a wet snow, shouldn't accumulate too much because those road temperatures are still well above 0. And then towards the morning hours as well around Port aux Basques, we could see that flurry activity as well. Just a few flurries. Otherwise, through the afternoon tomorrow, lingering flurries expected for Labrador, and then some more showers for the west coast. That'll change over to flurries again through the overnight on Friday, and then just some showers pushing through specifically towards the Avalon as well into Friday night, or rather tomorrow night, and then continuing into Saturday. Now, Saturday is when another big area of low pressure moves in, going to push quite a bit of snow into Labrador. And then as the system continues to track further north, warmer air moves in. Looks a little bit messy for Labrador. Snow changing over to rain into the evening hours, and then lots of rain expected across the island and winds expected as well. We'll take a look at that a little bit later this evening. 3 degrees tonight for Port aux Basques. Windy conditions upwards of about 80 kilometers per hour expected. 5 centimeters again up in the higher elevation. Surface does look like showers for Corner Brook. And then towards central, Grand Falls, Windsor, Gander, all looking at the potential for some flurries tonight. Windy conditions for Twillingate, and then 2 degrees for St. Anthony through the overnight tonight. Another 5 centimeters on the way for Happy Valley, Goose Bay, -1 tonight. Labrador City looks like it should go down to about -17. Clear, and then a wind chill making it feel closer to -24, so definitely bundle up if you are headed out tonight. Again, we're going to take a look at that rain, how much is on the way for Saturday, and the winds as well coming up in a little bit.
Thanks, Ashley. The Me Too movement is changing Hollywood with calls for more female directors and more women in power. But here in Newfoundland, a local film festival has been celebrating women in film for almost 3 decades. Here now's Chris O'Neill Yates reports.
This is a proud moment for Newfoundland filmmaker Deanne Foley. Her 3rd feature film opens the St. John's International Women's Film Festival. The movie is called An Audience of Chairs, and it tackles a difficult theme, mental illness.
I think having a festival believing in female filmmakers and saying that we need gender parity, and I think the festival does a great job of doing that.
Festival founder Noreen Golfman says the effects of Me Too are found even here.
Everybody's touched by it. Seriously, I can't imagine there's a woman in this room who hasn't picked up a camera or written a script that doesn't have a story.
Golfman says she used to be asked why a women's film festival was even needed. Not anymore.
We'd like to think we were ahead of #MeToo in some sense by just being here, making a statement about the need to have a showcase and an opportunity for women's work because they're so underrepresented in the mainstream.
I'll get better, I'll do anything. Carolina Barchak plays the starring role in An Audience of Chairs. She says other festivals could learn from this one.
The #MeToo movement's been all about women not feeling like they can speak up. And all of a sudden we're saying, actually, no, you should speak up and you should talk because you're important. See, you're on that screen, you're important. And guess what? Another woman made that film, and guess what? It's making money.
Barchak says young women entering the film business aren't willing to accept sexism.
Whereas even in my generation, I still always felt that I wasn't as important as a man and that I didn't have the same qualifications even though I did.
I think Newfoundland's a bit of an anomaly in terms of the number of female filmmakers, and I think this festival has a huge part in helping develop and launch female filmmakers' careers.
There wasn't a kind of unhealthy competition or hierarchy that undermined women's work. So the men in this community have been hugely supportive in making that space.
Wiebke von Karelsfeld is with the group Film Fatale that fights for gender equality in the film industry around the world.
I think it's incredible that on this rock in the far east of Canada, they've had this festival for almost 30 years now, dedicated to women in film, and it's an incredible achievement and there's much to be proud of.
3 decades ago, this festival might have been considered a quirky event. Today, the women who built it are trailblazers in a movie business that's ready for change. Chris O'Neill Yates, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, as we age, many of us are going to need medical equipment, just like this wheelchair. And occupational therapists across the province, well, they're trying to make sure that this equipment will be there when you need it. That story is coming up. Welcome back to Here Now. Well, if you have a wheelchair or perhaps a walker that's no longer in use, occupational therapists would like you to drop it off at various collection points right across the island. There's lots of medical equipment in St. John's, but rural areas, not so much. And as part of Occupational Therapy Month, OTs are setting up collection points to receive donations of equipment or money. And I met up with 2 occupational therapists at the Red Cross on Major's Path in St. John's this afternoon. All right, Leslie, so tell me, what is it that you need?
We need, the Red Cross depots need throughout the province a variety of different pieces of healthcare equipment, and I can show you here. This is an aluminum height adjustable walker.
Right.
They'll be looking for those. They'll be looking for wheelchairs, very important point, with the footrests, because that is a very important piece of the chair.
Right. Why is the footrest important?
The footrest is important so that people can actually rest their feet when they're in a wheelchair and being pushed or using a wheelchair themselves independently, just to help support their feet.
Okay, and we have some other things here. Of course, I think everybody has seen people with these. These are canes or adjustable, what are they?
These are adjustable height canes,
right,
and they're aluminum. So they won't be looking for wooden canes, but they'll be looking for aluminum height adjustable canes.
Okay, and why are the height adjustable canes important?
Height adjustable canes are important because the heights of the cane can be adjusted to the user to accommodate each individual user's height.
Right, because they're all different shapes and sizes,
That's
right?
right.
Okay, and back here we move on to the bathroom aspect of things.
Yes, so they'll also be looking for raised toilet seats.
Mm-hmm.
Raised toilet seats come with rails or without rails, and they just go on over your regular toilet, standard toilet, and you can use them to get up and down from the toilet to raise the height of your toilet to help you to be able to get on and off easier.
Okay, so Leslie, somebody watching at home might have some of this stuff that they've kept, they've had for a couple of years for whatever reasons. What is it you hope that people will do?
What we're hoping people will do is that they will clean out their homes and donate any gently used and in good condition healthcare equipment that the Red Cross is looking for throughout designated areas of the province this Occupational Therapy Month.
Okay, so here we are, we're in St. John's on Major's Path. There seems to be a lot of equipment here. That's not the case on the other side of the overpass. So is this an issue of trying to get more stuff across the island or across the province?
Yes, it is. Depots that are almost full to capacity have partnered with us and are helping us move any equipment that we get over and above what they need out to the rural communities.
All right, so this will be mostly stuff that's on the Avalon that's going to be dispersed into places that actually need a lot of this.
Exactly. Like, for example, I'm heading an initiative that's going to start in St. John's with a U-Haul trailer, and we're going to end in Marystown with the hope of filling the Marystown depot.
Okay, and I guess the Burin Peninsula is just one area. There are many others.
Exactly, like the Northern Peninsula as well is another area of need.
So, Patty, what's important about what Leslie's doing with the Red Cross?
Sure. So medical equipment is really important right now as we have clients that are in hospital, and as they're ready to leave hospital in a timely way to get the best benefit of their recovery at home. We want to have equipment that is accessible to people so that they can return home safely. And by accessing the Red Cross, there's equipment available that they can borrow for a short-term basis, and then they can put it into their homes, be able to return to bathing and toileting and doing their personal care with minimal assistance or sometimes independently. And that way then when you're finished with the equipment, people can return that equipment for someone else to use, and it helps those who are being discharged from hospital.
And I suppose the other reality is that we're all getting older, whether we like it or not, so the demand for this kind of equipment is going to increase, not just here in St. John's, but also off the Avalon.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, our need is, our aging population across the province has shown the need for people to be able to remain at home safely and to be out of hospital. And so a lot of times that they are still in that recovery process, that they need this equipment to remain at home.
Now, if you think you might have some of this equipment, the Red Cross says it prefers gently used clean equipment that's in good working order. So if it's baffed, leave it at home. And for now, this program is only on the island. And for information about where you can donate items, search for the Newfoundland and Labrador Association of Occupational Therapy on Facebook.
Wow. Out of the shadows and into the spliffs. Marijuana proponents like musician Colleen Power are celebrating a long-awaited day. We'll join Colleen as she smokes her first legal joint. That's in 3 minutes. Welcome back to Here and Now.
So the weed supply didn't last all that long, and yet it's safe to assume that yesterday thousands of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians took their first legal puffs.
For Colleen Power, a longtime advocate of legalization, when the moment finally arrived, it felt a little weird.
All right. This is quite the fancy packaging here. Look at this. It's one joint in this vacuum sealed, like something they're sending to outer space. Wow. It smells beautiful. I'm having my first legal draw on TV. I'm not worried about my neighbors coming out and turning their nose up at me, because it's legal today. It's kind of weird and strange. Come to St. John's, go to university, finish my university degree with a major in French and English, a Bachelor of Arts. I graduated out on the Dean's List. I don't think cannabis has prevented me from doing anything at all. I think people could learn from cannabis because it's not a violence-inducing drug in any way. Compared to alcohol, which is the cause of a lot of problems here in Newfoundland and Labrador. Domestic abuse, drinking and driving, deaths from drinking and driving. You know, there's many things. So alcohol is legal. You can buy alcohol. I don't think that there's any reason why you wouldn't be able to buy recreational cannabis and have a positive vibe on the go for yourself. So bag onions and a pack of cannabis, please. That's what I'll have.
Different kind of shopping experience. It's a new world, Debbie.
Onions, cannabis, it is a new world for sure.
Now, I was away for the last 2 days, and some people on social media said, is it a coincidence that Anthony is away? And I assure you, it has nothing to do. Although the Here and Now set is much more vivid and vibrant than that I actually remember.
You're such a card.
Well, as the smoke clears on Canada's new legal pot market, some regional differences are now starting to show up. It's only day 2, but Canadian cannabis buyers, well, they're experiencing different wait times and availability, among other things.
And perhaps most importantly, cost, depending on where you are or where they are. Scott Peterson has the details on pot prices right across the country.
Starting on the East Coast, the Nova Scotia Liquor Corporation has one of the most transparent and organized systems in the country. Nova Scotians have 12 locations in the NSLC website to buy their pot, starting online at prices of $6.33 up to $15 a gram, depending on quality. It's a mix of prices in New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Labrador, and PEI between government and private online sales. Quebec has some of the cheapest prices in the most bricks and mortar stores of anywhere in the country, 3 in Montreal and 12 across the province. Quebecers paying as little as $5.25 a gram. That works out to less than $150 an ounce. Ontario won't have stores until April, but on the government site, weed is available at $7.95. Manitoba Private Retail has 4 stores, and online, pot is $7 a gram. Alberta has a mix of private and government online sites with a base price of $6.95, and BC, perhaps ironically, has just 1 physical store, which is in Kamloops. Everyone else is paying $6.99 a gram online. Everywhere else is generally more expensive the further north you go into the territories of Nunavut, but these are really early days, and like the industry itself, these prices are going to be subject to change. As the market settles down, price differences, supply demands will probably work themselves out as online sites and stores gauge exactly how popular their product is. Scott Peterson, CBC News, Toronto.
I bet you've never heard that before.
No, I have not. Coming up, we'll tell you what that sound is, and Ashley will have your latest local weather details.
Welcome back once again. Let's talk about that unexplained noise we just mentioned before the break.
Big ice. And that sound, well, that's a recording that was just released by the American Geophysical Union. Scientists buried 34 sensors under the Ross Ice Shelf in the Antarctic.
And the sounds you're hearing are from powerful winds blowing through the snow dunes, making the ice vibrate.
You could see those sensors just off in the distance. Scientists say it could help them monitor climate change, like a warning song from Earth.
Kind of spooky. Interesting, though.
I hope they come up with some good information. There's one of the sensors on the far right and in the middle. Yep.
Look at the clouds, look like they're making the vibration.
Right, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song needs lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Hey, people, what are you doing? And it's kind of a rock song.
Hey, you're not wrong. Yeah, so as far as weather goes, you know, over the next 24 hours, we'll get right into tomorrow's forecast. It does look like things should cool down as we head through the day tomorrow, down to about 6 degrees for St. John. Slight chance of a few showers, but more sun and cloud through the afternoon. Temperatures in the morning are going to mean we could see some snow, again about 2 centimeters of wet snow through the morning hours for Gander, reaching a high near 4 degrees. That will likely change over to showers as that temperature jumps up. Grand Falls, Windsor as well, 4 degrees. St. Anthony, mostly cloudy and 4 degrees. And then Corner Brook looking at a couple 2 to 4 more millimeters of rain again in those higher elevations, likely seeing some more flurries tomorrow. And then Port aux Basques, flurries towards the early morning hours and then changing over to showers and 4 degrees. Winds generally not too bad, about 40 km/h gusts. Lab City looking at -5 tomorrow, light winds, just some scattered flurries expected through Happy Valley, Goose Bay as well, 2 degrees. Cartwright at 2 degrees as well. Some north winds gusting upwards of about 50 km/h. Now, the big story really is all the rain potentially on the way this weekend. Environment Canada has already issued a special weather statement for the entire island. It is a little bit early, though, to say just how much rain is going to fall, but it does look like a significant amount. We'll start to see that snow push through Labrador into Saturday, the first half of Saturday. And then this southerly flow bringing in some warmer air with it. So it does look like things will change over to rain into the afternoon. Most of that snow falling Saturday morning, overnight Saturday, and then into Sunday, things will be rain. And then we start to see that rain push in across the island, starting on the south coast, heading towards the interior as well, and then just rounds of heavy rain, it looks like, through the day on Saturday and continuing into Sunday. So if we take a look at early models, it does look like into Saturday afternoon, again, that south coast starting to see the rain push in. By Saturday night, rather, we are looking at somewhere between 30 to 50 millimeters of rain and then continuing to push further north and east. And a bullseye there of close to 100 millimeters of rain is possible. Again, we're going to have to keep our eye on this over the next couple of days, but it does look like a significant amount. Winds will also be strong as well out of the southeast, so wreck house wind warning likely, and then 80 km/h, probably closer to 110, and then heading towards Sunday night, or rather Sunday into the morning, we're looking at about 80 to even 90 km/h gusts through the day. So taking a look at the next 5 days, look at these temperatures warming up with that system into the teens on Sunday. Same thing for western Newfoundland, starting the rain and then pushing in on Sunday. Temperatures will drop into Monday and Tuesday. We're going to see that for central as well, about 30 to 40 millimeters it looks like right now. And then up through Labrador, that snow changing over to rain on Saturday as those temperatures jump up above zero, and then same thing for eastern Labrador as well. Could see about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow there. So Debbie will have the rest of your weather photo coming up in a little bit.
Thanks, Ashley. Sounds like quite a mess ahead of us.
A lot of rain, yeah.
Well, it began with some corporate advertising. Kenya's only hockey team getting a chance to take to the ice with NHL superstars, courtesy of a coffee chain.
Yeah, it's quite the story, and it took a personal turn when some local Toronto players decided to put together a pickup game. And for a while, at least, our game was also Africa's game. Ali Chiasson reports.
I should try out something new.
The Ice Lions story is so Canadian.
We had watched a couple of matches. I had watched a couple of matches in the 2010 Winter Olympics, I had a thought like, why not try this right here? So 5 years down the line, we started. Once we formed the team, we didn't have any other teams to play. So we used to play amongst ourselves. Basically, many people didn't know what it was. And those who knew thought it was dangerous.
Coffee giant Tim Hortons saw the Ice Lions story and saw promo gold. They flew the team to Canada and hosted their first competitive match with a couple of ringers. Who won?
The Ice Lions. Yeah, it was an emotional moment for us.
The story struck a chord with some local hockey heroes.
Canada just is the home of hockey. And when we hear somebody from Africa wants to come and play here and play hockey, we're happy just to bring it on and show them and share the excitement.
After the Tim's exhibition game, the Ice Lions wanted more ice time.
We quickly got all the guys together and got them all organized. They needed a goalie. My son volunteered to play. We got a referee.
Gary Mercer strung together a team of guys from his trucking company.
We had their flag on their dressing room door. We took some beers into their dressing room for them. And
classic experience.
Yes, of course. Now, we played 2 hours of hockey with them. We're all beat. They didn't want to stop. Yeah. So much so that we did stop. And my son Brennan, who was their goalie, they wanted to take shots on him because they've never had a goalie before. And they spent about another 20 minutes just shooting and shooting at him.
I had some bruises from after that game for sure. It's honestly one of my most favorite moments in my entire life.
Mercer said he felt honored to be a part of the Ice Lions' journey.
My hope for them is to be able to play at a high level, to actually start a hockey federation, and to actually be able to travel as a traveling team.
As much as the Ice Lions made an impression on the local boys at that Etobicoke arena, the entire experience was a game changer back at home in Kenya.
We have a lot of requests from locals back at home. They want to start. We're going to have a very good turnout of new recruits.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, foggy skies make for some beautiful pictures there. Any idea where that is?
That could be so many
all
places in
of the
this
photos
province.
can. Well, it's on the Avalon.
Oh.
Avalon?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No? Okay, well, we'll figure out where that is coming up after the break.
Well, Halloween is less than 2 weeks away, and a lot of people will certainly be looking for the perfect pumpkin for carving up for Halloween night.
But a British Columbia man found a different use for the big orange gourds. This is how Jesse Seeds took advantage of pumpkin season. The Vancouver Island man used 640 of them to propose to his girlfriend during a scenic plane trip.
Is that his name was Seeds? Jesse Seeds? His dad, a friend, and a 94-year-old neighbor, they rolled all those pumpkins in the perfect spot, spelling out, as Debbie mentioned, "Justine, will you marry me?" And their teamwork paid off. Apparently, Justine said yes.
Wow, people are so creative.
Yeah.
How
Halloween
cute
and
is
romance mixed into one.
Not
Imagine if she said
normally
no.
two things that
What do you do then? Like roll them all away? You just leave them there?
Just pretend like it never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just before the break, we were looking at this photo here. Gorgeous shot there.
It's beautiful. I love
Calm water.
it when there's no wind. It's such a treat.
Looks like a good place to dip the paddles in there.
Aha.
Yeah, so this is on the Avalon, as I mentioned, in Aquafort.
Nice.
All right.
Beautiful spot there. Yeah, I had to look that up too. I have to look up all these places. But yeah, gorgeous shot there. Thank you for sending that in, Linda Cutler. If you have any weather photos you'd like to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Often when it's foggy, it's calm like that in the water, right?
Exactly.
Debbie?
True,
Yeah.
true.
All right, break out the paddles, and it's nice to be back with you guys.
It's nice to have you back.
See you tomorrow.
Have a great night. See you tomorrow.
Good night.